Hi, everyone. I'm Sunshine Jackson, and thank you so much for joining me for the Sunshine Sessions on YouTube. Well, I always try to be unbiased when I do videos, especially those that speak to relationships between Black men and Black women or just any type of societal issues. I try to create a fair and balanced environment so that we can all have discussions that might lead to us hearing each other and learning a little bit more. Well, tonight I just want to talk about the insecurity that some Black men possess as it relates to their interaction with Black women. And let me explain. Again, I always tend to have to do these disclaimers because I don't want anyone to think that I'm speaking about all Black men. That's not the case. I'm well aware that there are good Black men out there. But let me just say this, I'm actually tired of having to make that disclaimer because what's frustrating to me is that the good Black men tend to be a little bit too silent, in my opinion, on um, certain topics. So recently, I talked to you all about the Godfrey situation. I won't go back over that, but the reason I'm referencing that is because some of the comments that I got, those on which I'd like to speak tonight, stemmed directly from my response to the Godfrey debacle and his reaction to seeing a Black woman with a white man on an advertisement. So I went on to talk about the pick me's and how that can be detrimental and a little embarrassing for Black women. And the response from the men, certain men, of course, as you all can imagine, was not very favorable. But again, I expected that, and it's okay. This is a public forum, and everyone is entitled to their opinion. Again, as long as it's kept respectful. But it only takes a Black woman to speak out about certain issues and not really conform to that pick me mentality that really opens the floodgates for uh, negative responses from men. Again, I'm okay with that. I can take that. It's a public forum. But I would just like to address some of that tonight. First of all, I want to start with, and I might just stay here, with the gentleman who responded to the Pick Me video. And what he stated was that, and you can tell by the tone of his message, that he felt as though I shouldn't have the audacity to not be a pick me, quite honestly. He seemed to feel as though I didn't have the right to desire more or to not kiss the asses of Black men, even those who don't think highly enough of Black women to uplift Black women. That was the tone of his response or his reply to me. So I just want to spend some time talking about that. Well, when I told him, or when I stated in the video that I'm not a pick me, I won't ever be that. I just don't identify that way. I am female identified. The backlash that I received was that, I was a feminist and how educated Black women tend to um, use wordplay to try to down Black men, or because what I told him was he assumed that I was a feminist by my response to the whole pick me scenario. I explained to him I don't typically identify as a feminist, and the reason I don't is because I just don't feel like white feminism aligns itself with the plight of the Black woman. That's another video. We'll talk about that another day. I'm simply expressing to you all why I don't identify totally as a feminist. I am a womanist, and I don't think that those are the same things in my definition. In my definition, I will always put women first, particularly Black women, in the sense that I advocate for whatever is healthy for Black women, excuse me, because I move every day in this society as a Black woman. Okay, so that's not to alienate anyone else. It's simply to uplift who I am and with whom I identify. That's all that means. Again, we'll go further into that in another video. I explained to him that I'm not a feminist. He got very upset and stated that educated Black women do this thing. And he went on to say that, because I told him educated is not a bad thing, you know, he went on to say that he agreed that educated wasn't a bad thing, but he felt like that as educated women, we tend to talk down to Black men. I don't see that as being the case. He identified himself as educated as well. So for me, if he is this educated man, everything I said in my video was clear and concise. There was no, I said this, but come back and said what I meant was that. I'm doubling down on everything I said in those videos, and you can go back and you can view those if you want, about Godfrey and also about the pick me. Okay, so, and I said I was going to stick with one guy. These are separate responses from separate people. I'm just realizing that now. So we went on, you know, and you talk to guys like this and you try to keep it cordial, but eventually what happens is the attitude comes out. Do you understand what I mean? They can try to hide it, but eventually that real thing that's bubbling underneath, it comes out. I'm learning that there are quite a few Black men who take issue with Black women because we view ourselves, because we're vibrating higher and because we're realizing that we deserve better and we're not settling for anything less. And I'm learning that there are a lot of Black men, not all, but there are a lot who have a problem with that. Well, my response is, you're just gonna have to get over that. I won't ever again be a pick-me. I won't ever again dumb it down to meet any man where he is, instead of him reaching up to meet me where I am at this present time. I'm not doing that. And a lot of people have a problem with it. My suggestion, to Black women, ignore that. Continue to vibrate higher. Continue to vibrate higher. There was a gentleman who came into my comments. The comments are still there. You can check those out. If you are like me and you go to different videos, I read comments. He asked me, well, he stated, well, pick-me's get picked. Have you been picked? And what I explained to him was, no, I probably haven't been picked because I am pursued. And as a result of being pursued, I do the picking, sir. As a woman, I pick and choose with whom I decide to spend my time. Is it always something that results in what I intended it? Absolutely not. But as the woman, I'm not chasing any man. I'm neither chasing any man nor am I going to spend my time making TikTok or YouTube videos begging particularly Black men to view my brown skin and my natural hair as an option in making me their preference. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. As a result, he didn't like the response that I'm pursued. So he goes on to say, pursued? But can you keep a man? Can you find a man and keep a man? Well, and he also stated, well, you're bitter and you're angry and you're trying to lead younger women down a road that makes them bitter, angry and alone just like you. Well, first of all, sir, you don't know my relationship status. That's the first thing. I am single and dating, and I'm enjoying that because I'm focusing on myself. The first thing is, well, the second thing, that's the first thing. The second thing is, I may not want to keep everyone that I have had. That's an assumption. It's an assumption that the men that I've had are all good enough to consider keeping. That's that fragile male ego thing that you're doing. In addition to that, I'm not leading young women down any path, because I guarantee you this younger generation is strong enough to make up their own minds. So I'm going to say this. The fragile egos are showing. Again, I will always be pursued because I know my value. Therefore, I will always do the picking. I want Black women to realize you do not have to settle. Continue to vibrate higher. Anyone who cannot appreciate that or respect that is not worth your time. Someone said that these videos are very telling. Well, you are right, sir. They are telling. And what they are telling us is that a lot of Black men cannot handle certain Black women, and that's okay. Take care.